Hello, Gallatin County. Your Gallatin County Commissioner Scott MacFarlane here for your weekly check-in. Last week we were all out for the Montana Association of Counties Conference, so we had a lot of catching up to do this week, and it just happened that this week a big event in our county is that it's Big Sky Community Week. So there's been a lot of things happening up in Big Sky throughout the week that we've been participating in. So Monday we started off with our regularly scheduled Monday work session. Where there was just some business to take care of and a lot of conversations we need to have, but nothing real important or that anybody would find that interesting came out of that. But that afternoon, we did have a big forum up in Big Sky. So I went up there to represent the county to explain the ballot issues that we have on the ballot for all Gallatin County voters about our rest home mill levy and our two marijuana tax initiatives that are on the ballot. And that was a great event. And they continue to have events throughout the week, which led into Wednesday, we had a joint Gallatin County Madison Commission meeting up there as well. That went really well. We had presentations at that joint Madison County meeting on the post office. Interesting piece of information there that the Big Sky Post Office is going to terminate their contract with the federal government for providing post office services. So it's kind of a last effort that the post office contractor has up there to motivate the feds into getting them a better space for their post office. So that contract will be terminated at the end of this, notice for the contract terminated at the end of this month, and the last delivery of mail will be February 28th. So that's kind of a big deal for Big Sky. Hopefully, and there's reason to be optimistic that the federal government will then be motivated to find a solution for Big Sky people up there. We also got an economic report from NERMED about Big Sky that people found very interesting. A lot of information about workforce participation, median home price, and a lot of the story that translates down to the valley for most of people in our county and community as well. And then we also had a presentation on the emergency evacuation plan by the sheriff and our emergency emergency office. Patrick Lonergan gave a presentation about what the plan is for Big Sky for emergency evacuation, which is something the community up there has been looking forward to hearing more information about. So that was a really helpful presentation. On our moving back to our regular Tuesday meeting down here at the County Commission, we awarded our first annual Noxious Weed Management Award. Something that our weed board has been really wanting to do the last couple of years is start to recognize big community partners that do amazing things in weed management. So our first inaugural award was for Bridger Bowl, and that was a really exciting thing to do, to get to talk with the community and recognize all the things that Bridger Bowl does for weed management. Anybody that's ever been up there and run around on the Bridger Bowl landscape, especially during the summer and fall, you might not notice how there are no weeds up there and the natural vegetation is just so amazing. It's because of all the work they do in their noxious weed management plan. And so recognizing them was just a real feel-good thing for the weed board and for the county commission. We awarded a contract to Bullock Construction for a large earthwork project at the landfill. It's what we call our Phase 5 expansion. So in expanding into new phases of the landfill, there's enormous amounts of earthwork and dirt work that have to be done. And there were a lot of respondents for that contract, and Bullock Construction was awarded that contract. We also awarded a 3-year contract for a talent agent for the fairgrounds. That went to Pepper Entertainment. We approved a memorandum of agreement with the city of Bozeman for a parking garage on the north side of the county courthouse here, where our parking lot is. The city has a plan to build a parking garage there and replace all of the county public parking for the county. So it's kind of a win-win for the citizens of Gallatin County, citizens of Bozeman, to have more parking here in downtown. And we have a great location for that. And as long as we get back our 70 or so parking spots that we currently have, then it's just all a net benefit for the community. That's just the beginning of negotiations. We don't have a contract yet. That's just a memorandum of agreement that we will start moving forward with a contract for how to place that site. We did a bunch of ARPA money awards for water and sewer districts. We gave an award for Hebgen Lake Estates down near West Yellowstone, the Springvale Property Owners Association, and the Bridger Pines County Water and Sewer District. Those had been relatively competitive application process for our water and sewer ARPA money, and we're finally getting that out the door. And later we'll see more of that for next week too. We also awarded some ARPA money to the Three Forks Ambulance District for the purchasing and outfitting of a new ambulance for Three Forks. Those pieces of equipment are really expensive and really hard for a small district like that to raise the funds necessary to buy new equipment, so having some ARPA money to give them, I think, gets them on the schedule for getting one of these manufactured. We also heard an ordinance on permanently closing Old Town Bridge. If you've been following along with that for the last several weeks, we have had other temporary emergency ordinances to close Old Town Bridge that we needed to do immediately as the bridge was closed. But now this is a permanent ordinance that will close it permanently until we can build a new bridge, which best case scenario is funded and built in about 2 years. So that will be closed for quite a while. And then at the end of that Tuesday meeting, we kind of finished up our final denial of a zone map amendment that was requested for Big Sky Ranch Partners in Big Sky. That was a workforce housing project on the Big Sky Ranch where they had asked to transition some of their property into a different type of zoning designation so they could fit housing on it, and the community showed up in pretty strong opposition to say that wasn't quite the right place for that housing. So the Big Sky Ranch Partners are going to go back and have promised to locate that housing on a different part of their property that's a little more appropriate for that. So before we could actually reach denial, the applicant pulled their application. They heard the community and as we did, and knew that we intended to deny their request, so they pulled their application. So that kind of takes us through this week. And also this week was our county health fair. So a lot of our employees have been running back and forth to the fairgrounds, making sure they get their flu shots and their blood draw. And that went through the week. I hope everybody participated. It's a really great program for us. Next week, of course, Monday is Columbus Day. Tuesday, our Tuesday regular meeting for the commission is a little lighter. Kind of items of note on there are awarding the contract for our Meridian Bridge replacement. That's been something that we've been in design and RFPing for a contractor for the last year and a half. We're finally going to have a contractor and let them loose on replacing that bridge. That's a great project down there too, and one of the bridges we've been waiting for a lot of years to get replaced. We'll also have a couple more ARPA awards, and these are a little bigger. They're for the City of West Yellowstone's Water and Sewer Infrastructure Project, which is an enormous project, and our contribution to that is relatively very small, but very important for them to get going. And then the Big Sky County Water and Sewer District also. Big, large projects where our contribution is helping, but definitely relatively smaller than those other projects I mentioned we did this week. And then Thursday, we have our Planning and Zoning Commission. We don't have an agenda out for that yet, but that usually takes up most of Thursday doing planning and zoning. So that's kind of what we did this week and what we're into next week. I hope everybody's enjoying their October weather. It's gorgeous outside and cross-country weather. So everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week.